Hello, everyone. Fiona, Sue, Cheryl, and I think Michelle was up there before. Yes, Fiona, the door is shut and we're all finished and packed up and downstairs. Hi, Leanne. Hi. Had my countdown timer on early enough tonight. Oh, good. Thanks, Fiona. You've been stitching for years, but, maybe you still picked up something. Who knows? Now, you might have noticed in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen is a funny little jar with lots of little bubbles falling into it. So this is a little lottery jar I'm testing out. It's a little widget. So it's a little lottery jar, and every time someone makes a comment, you get an entry into the jar. So if you watch when you make a comment, Del, hi Del, you just dropped in. And if you've got a hi Mag, hi Amanda, Yarrawonga, nice and warm there, is it? On YouTube, good, thanks to see on YouTube. So if you've got a profile picture and you actually, when you joined, the first time you joined, you enabled showing your profile and things like that, which you probably did if you're commenting, then your little face is falling into that jar. And at the end, I get to click on it and it chooses a winner. So anyone that makes a comment or says hello, you go in the jar and I can choose a winner at the end of the night, at the end of the live. And I'll send you a little goodie bag, a little surprise. Hi, Liz. So you did pick it up. Yeah, hopefully it won't get in the way of things, but it just sits in the corner there. Hi, Carol. Just sits in the corner. So I'm just trialing it out. It's a new feature that just came on my platform. I thought it was pretty cool. That's fun. I guess it's to encourage you to make comments and engage. Hi, Amelia. Amelia Bird, it's not Amelia. Yes. Nicole, Denise, Jenny from Melbourne, Marilyn, Edel, Amanda. 8 degrees. Yeah, it's pretty chilly here too. I have my granny blanket on. Hi, Sue. That same Sue. Hi, Louise. Wow, everyone's jumping on. Hi, Donna. Jared buttons? What are Jared buttons? I don't know what Jared buttons are. Oh, it's filling up though. It's like guess how many in the jar, I think. It might be in the end. So I don't know if you go in twice. Like if you comment a second time, do you go in? Let me see. Let me see if I can see you drop in via. I don't think so. Maybe it's just you get one entry. Oh no, you might have just gone in. No, that was Marilyn. Don't need encouragement, no. Okay, so this is a bit fun watching all these little bubbles drop in there. Oh, how feel like Marilyn, beautiful. Oh, it's still cold here. Although it's been getting up to like 14 and 15 in the day down here, so that's not too bad. Not that I'd know because I've been inside sitting under my blankie, but yeah. So okay, all right, we'll just wait a couple more minutes for a few more people. And then as promised, we're going to do, hi Carol, hi Shelley on YouTube, good. Thick ice on the air this morning in Melbourne. Yeah, I think it's still pretty cold everywhere. Yeah, a couple of things to show you. Just a couple of things have come into the shop and a couple of sneak peeks on things that are finished. Bentley's eating his blanket, which is not a good thing. I should show you this blanket. It's a really cool blanket. Let me see if I can get it off him while we're waiting. It's on his pillow, so that's all right. So this was I think it was a Mother's Day present, or maybe it was a birthday present from the girls. It's really bad. But anyway, so it's a blanket with our family photo on it, and I look absolutely disgusting, so it went to the dog. But anyway, somewhere they got it made. It's like a really soft and snuggly. It is nice, but it's not very big, just enough to go over your knees maybe. But anyway, I sit there. If I put it up that way, then I can sit there and look at everyone's faces, or I put it that way, I look at their feet. But anyway, Bentley decided that it was quite chewable and quite edible. So it is now he's a naughty boy. That's his blanket. I'll put it over there. He can sit on his cushion without it. Oh, thanks, Denise. Thanks for sharing that. And feel free to share the link on the Alan Hare Facebook group too. I will maybe one day when I get a chance go back and edit the videos just to edit, in the demo bits, so little miniature tutorials then, and edit out all the chatting because there's lots of chatting to get through otherwise, and other things that aren't new or aren't current anymore. All right, we've got quite a few on here. We should make a start. So while you're having a conversation between yourselves, hi Shelley. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so those that have just come on, if you can see the little jar of lollies on the bottom left of the screen, that's the lottery jar. So every time you say hello or make a comment, you get an entry in the jar, and at the end I'm going to choose a winner. It just chooses a random winner apparently. Yeah, Mr. Bentley's very naughty. He eats lots of things. He's had to have them surgically removed, and he costs me a lot of money. So yes. So now he's going to see if he can get this pillow dead dog bed apart, obviously, while I'm not giving him any attention. All right, so a couple of things to show you. Hi, Gwen. See, I see the bubble drop into the jar before I see the comments. Joe, yes, you're here. I just saw you jump into the jar, fall into the jar. Okay, so all right, so a couple of things to show you, a couple of new things in, and a couple of sneak peeks first. So we got these gorgeous little, and I might switch over to the overhead so I can hide that one now. I want to move that, and I'll switch to the overhead so you can see this. So we got these little antique sort of rose gold little quick unpicks, and there was actually a second version too, so there's more of a cylindrical one there as well. Hi Adrian, hi Rhonda, hi Sharon. So these just came in and they're up on the website. I'll add them to the links in a minute. So they're a bit special. So if you've got a nice, or even if you've made like a gorgeous little needle book or some sort of sewing compendium, one of our like the Whole of Spoles or something like that, then these would be a really lovely thing to keep in it, to display in it, or even the iHex pattern would be lovely. So other than that, it is a quick unpick, so it does have a reasonably sharp blade there on that. So they're up on the website. We've just got them in the rose gold color, but at the moment we can get other colors, but we're just trialing them in that. So that's that one. And then we've just got a couple of these. I should have taken them out of the boxes before. They came in these boxes. So this is a gorgeous special gift. Like, it's a bit more special. So it's a box, a gorgeous box that's been engraved on the top. And then inside, there's a little thing there. Okay, so inside, this is the silver version, and the other one is the antique rose gold sort of look. I'll get that one out in a minute. And in these ones, it's got heaps of tools. So it's got an awl or a stiletto, quite dangerous. That could be very dangerous. I'm just checking the comments. The review wanted less chat and quick facts. Chat away, more fun, I think. Yeah, I might edit them eventually and put them up just as tutorials, get rid of all the chatter. But it's nice to chat because I feel like I'm chatting to a screen. I'm chatting to no one, but hopefully you're chatting back to me out there, even if it's silent. Okay, so here's the stiletto. So that's a silver stiletto in there. It's in this gorgeous box with all the velvet lined. And this is a bodkin. Everyone know what a bodkin is? So a bodkin, you put your ribbon or elastic through it and use that to thread through casings and channels and things like that. So that's a bodkin. And then there is the scissors. So I'm not sure what quality they are, but they look pretty. Oh, they cut all right. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing some cutting here in a minute. Oh, they even cut fabric quite nicely too. So that's not too bad. Not up to Karen K. Buckley's, but it's good. So it's antique silver. And then this is a needle case, which does have needles in it, but honestly, they look like they're big enough to stitch the horse cloth together. But there are some smaller ones, self-threading ones in there. So self-threading are handy, and then some big darning needles. So you can put your own better quality needles in there. I'm sure they're not the best quality. But isn't that gorgeous little needle case? Okay, and then there's a thread pendant. So you can cut your thread in all of those. There's a little blade in there. So the thread pendant that you can put on a necklace or something in there. And then there's a standard thimble. Okay, now I have fat fingers. I've got that on my middle finger just, but I don't use a thimble. So there's that. Yes, I actually thought about putting my needles in there, Fiona, before we ship it out, just to make sure people understand the difference. Which way does that go? That way. And then there is, oops, throwing it away. Then there is the finger at the top one for people that have got nails. So if you prefer that sort of one, and it's quite good actually because it's got that little ridge there that you can, and the dimples that you can really put your needle into, and that ridge there so it doesn't slip off and go into your finger. So, and that is adjustable in size too, so you can squeeze that to make it smaller or bigger to fit your finger, depending which one you use. So I think that one will be quite good. I haven't used a thimble for years. I only use a thimble for hand quilting, and sadly I haven't hand quilted for years. And then it's got all these vintage thread cards in there to wrap your threads around. So there's those little sets. As I said, we just got a couple to try to make sure we liked the quality of them. So that's the antique silver. Let me open the antique gold. And if you like them, we'll get some more. But, so this one I think is the rose gold. Yeah, so you can see that, but it's more like the antique-y rose gold or red bronze sort of. I'm not sure what they call it, but the same things in it. That one's got green and the other one had blue, I think, on the velvet. So I will pop the links up for those in a minute. I have to be quick though because there's only one of each for now until we get some more. So I'll just pop those away and we'll just like that. I learned some things last week. After we finished off, I got on to help and learned a few more things how to use this platform. So I now know I can swap over like that. Drag and drop. Okay, now a little sneak peek. I said last week I had a Simply Charmed quilt done. I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's a little sneak peek, and then I said, oh no, I won't because I'll quilt it on the weekend. Well, of course I didn't quilt it on the weekend. I actually had to finish the only the rose gold, the whole set. I will just hang on. I'll just put the products up, and then you can the links in there. The links will go in there in a minute. So I said I was going to go home and I was going to quilt it. That's right. But I didn't quilt it because now I've got myself in a big mess here. Because hang on, you just lost my voice, didn't you? No, you should be right now. You should be able to hear me. Yep. I didn't quilt it because I did the shop on my own, and then I had to do a podcast live with a girl in America, and that went for a bit longer than I thought. And then we actually had Chris Jerd down last weekend for a weekend workshop for modern quilters. So I popped out there. I'd open up in the morning. I popped back out to see that everything went okay and say hello and see what everyone did in the workshop. So I obviously didn't quilt the quilt. But I also decided I'm going to make the next one and quilt two at a time because I quilt one every however many months and I forget what I'm doing. So I said if I do two at a time, I should be on a roll. So this is just a sneak peek at the next Simply Charmed project. If you're a club member, you get a peek. If you're not, you can join up before the 15th of, well, it must be due in August. No, it might not be due till September, actually. I don't know. Joe will have to check me on that one. I don't know if they go the same time or a month apart. It's every 3 weeks. So this is using a lovely French General charm pack. And we've got little crosses this month. So it makes a bit bigger quilt, but goes together really quickly. So Here's a little sneak peek. Again, with our Simply Charm Club, it's every 3 months, so it's quarterly every 3 months. You get a choice of at least 3 charm packs in different styles. So if you don't like French general, you might like modern, or you might like something else. And you can buy all the extras. And then I write the patterns in the most efficient way possible. So it's all sort of chain piecing, stack cutting, chain piecing, so that you literally can make it in a day, and even in a few hours, some of them. And they're just really good little quilts for gifts, for lap quilts, for baby quilts, cot quilts, floor rugs, floor quilts. Yeah, lots of people are loving them. So simple, easy, not too many seams to match perfectly. I try really hard not to have to do quick seams. It is August, okay, so I do have to get a move on then. Yeah, so that is a sneak peek. That one is called Cross Charms this time in the Charm Pack Club, and I didn't put the link for that in there, sorry, but that's okay. And then what I have also been doing before I switch cameras and we start our demo, but you know our Bloomin' Marvelous quilt, so that was the free shop block of the month last year and half of this year. And everyone did their 16 blocks. I've shown you those before. And then I needed a few months to go home and do the corners, finish it off, work out how I was going to put it together and write the instructions. So apart from photographing the quilt, which I didn't do today because the camera's on charge for this, it is ready to go. And if you're doing that in our academy, so in our online academy, if you purchased and you've been doing it there, then the finishing is already there. The finishing, it's all there ready to go, apart from the photograph. And if you're doing it through the shop, then I will when's the third Saturday? So probably the third Saturday in August. Then we will do a finishing block of the month day where you can come in and get it for free there, or it'll go online for you to download and purchase. Okay, so I've talked about it. I better show you. So it's quite large. You're not going to see it all because I can't get back far enough. It's been put together with the Quilt As You Go method, but you can put it together normally. And this is with the extended corners. So there were 16 center blocks, and then you could do the extended corners, which I've been showing you peeks of as I've been doing them. Okay, I'm really not going to be able to see it all, but there's one corner and there's the whole quilt. As much as I can show you in one go. Okay, and included in that, you also get the technique of a wide binding. So the wide binding on the edge, I made the binding to match the sashings. I made the binding 1 inch, and not many people know sort of how to do a wide binding like that for it to all match in. So there are step-by-step instructions. Well, there are in the academy, and I also have a tutorial on the website that's been there for years, so not a current one, but the same thing on how to do a wide binding. Just one little tip there is you cut your strips for a binding 4 times the finished width plus ½ inch. So if you wanted a 1 inch finish look, then you would cut them 4 times that, so 4 plus ½ inch, so 4½ inch. If you wanted a 3/4 inch binding, then you would cut 4 3s at 12, so that's 3½ inches. So yeah, so that's how you work out how to cut your strips for an extra wide binding. But there's a special corner method, sewing method on the corners, how you actually sew the mitered, pre-sew the mitered corners. So it's pre-sewn front and back as you're attaching your binding. So I might do a tutorial on that one day. It's probably, I mean, I need my sewing machine for it, so I might have to do it downstairs and then just upload the video of it to show you how to do it. But yeah, so that's why I did that, so that it looked like an extension of the sashings. I'm looking here, I can just see a few quilting threads that I've missed that I haven't trimmed, and a couple of other little things I'm going to have to go back and fix. But yeah, I think it came out pretty well, and when I take the full photo, it'll better be able to see it all. So yeah, it's been a long process, considering I made the blocks probably in about 2019, maybe 2020. They made all the blocks years ago, and then it just got put away. Joe's been tripping over the box of fabrics for years, and I keep saying, no, you can't sell them. I'm doing a block of the month. We need to keep them. So yeah, once that's all together, I'll do a full release of the full quilt of that. And those that have been stitching along, you can finish Nicole Christmas version. Oh, I like to see that. You haven't shown any peeks of that on the long way, have you? I haven't seen that. Hi, Isabel from the Gold Coast. Yeah, okay. So that's Bloomin' Marvelous. I'll show you that soon. Okay, so as promised, I said this week I would show you the next step of the owl and hare. So last week we did now I'm going to, let me see. I'm just going to pop a few links from last week. Remember, I couldn't get the links last week. So I'm going to put them in there because it was really easy. I couldn't remember how I did it, but it really was easy. Okay, so those links will be going in there. Will be papers for the leaves in the corners. Yeah, there already is an extension set, Donna. There's like the pre-cut laser cut papers. There already is an extension pack. So a lot of people would already have it actually. Otherwise you've got to trace. So it wasn't with the main quilt, it was a second set of papers, and we do already have that. That'd be good for you to know, seeing as you're working in there. People might ask. Okay, so I'm going to switch to overhead. Where's my overhead? I'm going to switch those now and go to my overhead. Here we are. Okay, oops. So last week we did our hooping, put the stabilizer on, the needles that we use. We talked about needles and how to choose your needles. We talked about the pearl threads, the Presentia pearl threads. I just popped all the links in for those. We learned the back stitch. So I pretty much did it all in back stitch, a little bit of running stitch, cross stitch, and just a little bit of satin stitch there. And I went on and finished my stitchery, and then I gave it a press, although not a very good press because my best press was still upstairs and I couldn't be bothered running up to get it. But if I'd had my best press, I could have pressed that a bit better, and it's actually also a bit grubby. But anyway, so there's my finished stitchery. And then luckily I have now got the first issue of Homespun. I actually didn't get it, but we actually chased one down because if you remember, I actually did have a project in it, even though I was right at the very back, I think. Maybe not quite at the back. Where was I? Maybe I wasn't at the back at all. There I am. So the Toodle Pip table topper was in that. So that was the February issue, the first issue of Owl and Hare, and sort of got a little bit overshadowed by the launch of Owl and Hare. But look, some of you must have seen it because we actually sold an awful lot of kits for that. So that was my little table topper project there. That was a nice photo they used, wasn't it? So I need to zoom out a little bit. So that's in there. Hence, I finally got my hands. Normally they send you one, and if you've got a project in it, and I just never got one, so we had to chase it down. But that also means I've got the first part of Owl and Hare. Not that I needed it. All I needed was like a photo in there. So it did mean that I could count how many hexies needed to be in the ring. So I did promise this week we would do the hexies. And I have pre-prepared quite a few, obviously, but we'll go through and do some more. Okay, so we are using from the special pack that we did for the project, the Easy EPP and Applique template set. So you could just get just the English paper piecing papers, or you can get the applique pieces as well. And if you've done my applique with the applique paper, why wouldn't you? You need those as well. Fiona, do you still have kits for the table topper? I think we probably do. Joe might answer that one in a minute, but I'm pretty sure we still have some left there. The link doesn't work to the stitcher needles. Okay, I'll have to check that later, Sue. Sorry. Okay, so I pulled out my 20 half-inch hexagons from the pack. And these are cut in 3 layers, so you need to separate those 3 layers. Okay, and then you can look or you can feel. You can feel the blue side. It's sort of like shiny and smoother on the glue side than it is on the other side. So then I put glue side down just onto some scraps of fabric and fuse them down with just a hot dry iron. So for those that you, yes, we do still have kits of the table topper, Fiona, Toodle Pip Topper. For those that haven't used or seen my papers before, they're EPP iron-ons. So they're iron-on leave-in papers. They're cut from our applique paper, which is semi-water soluble. So you iron them on and leave them in there, which is why for this project, this quilt, this makes it so much easier to make and enjoy. Okay, so I've fused them on just to some scraps of Tilda fabrics, and then I'm just going to cut out with a rough 1/4 inch seam allowance. For a 1/2 inch, like a smaller hexie, I'll probably go a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch. Okay, and there are 20 in a ring, I'm pretty sure. Just counting up what was in the book, because of course I didn't read the instructions. I just looked at the pretty pictures. Okay, so I've roughly cut out my seam allowance. Then I take my glue pen and run a line of glue along the edge of the paper. Let's see if you can see that blue there, just on the edge of the paper, no wider than the seam allowance, and then I fold till I fill the edge and push down onto the glue. Then we do the next one, and I just do one side at a time so that my corners are glued down and they're not popping up. So when I do the next glue line, I'm going on top of the fabric, like at the very edge, and across the paper to the other side, and then just gluing it over. Okay, so it's pretty quick. Actually, I intended all along to keep some undone to do them, and last night I was just going mind-numbingly gluing and realised I did them all, so I had to pull a few out again, which is why they're a bit already pre-folded. Okay, these ones were new ones today because I obviously, well, I think I did count to 20, but I seem to have lost some between fusing them on and getting them upstairs to glue them down. Now, just show you, 1/2 inch are really quick and simple. It's just one push on each side. But also, I thought I'd just show you the Tack It Easy tools. So if you've seen the Tack It Easy tools from Cottage Garden Threads, they're just these little cardboard things. They come in all different sizes, and you can get them with templates or without, but you really don't need templates without iron-ons. But I do have all the templates, so maybe one day I'll do some hand piecing. Okay, and they're designed, just want to pre-fold where they're perforated there. You pop your shape in there and just push it up until you get it on the edge, like in the fold. So I'm with my left hand, I'm pushing it towards this cardboard here until I've got it hard up against the fold. Put some glue on and then fold it over and do the next one. Fold it. And the next one, fold. I haven't done it on a little 1/2 inch before. I usually use it for the 1 inch or the larger ones where you can sort of get a bit of flaring out, because it's only one press then instead of several with your thumb, so it gets a nice straight crisp edge. Okay, and that glues it down. Let me do one more there. Oops. Remember a few weeks ago I commented that my glue just wasn't sticking very well, and you all agreed that yours wasn't as well. So I did contact Charlotte at Sewline, and she went back to their head office and their developers, and they've all told me that there's no difference. They haven't changed it or anything, and there should be no difference, and they tested it and it was all right for them. So I don't know if it's the weather or I'm way I'm holding my tongue or what, but I'm still finding that I don't think it's sticking as well as it used to. Anyway, we will persist because we don't have an alternative apart from going to the messy craft glue sticks. So that's all my pieces done. You can see how quick and accurate it was with the Take It Easies, but your thumb works just as well, particularly for that size. But if you've got the set, then that might get you through quicker. All right, and the next thing we have to do then is sew them into a ring which sits around our embroidery design like that. So how I did it, and you can't really, because they're not tessellating, like you're not joining a flat side to a flat side. All you're doing is joining them at this little point here just to keep them in a ring. Alternatively, you could just sit them on and glue them on, or sit them and pin them if you really had to, but no way, use glue onto your background and try and get them all even. But I just find it's easier to sew it into a ring first. And to do that, we're just going to do a little, what I call a little grab stitch. So I've got my applique needle this week, so Hugs and Kisses applique needle. It's a nice fine one, and I'm using a Wonderfil. This is an 80 weight deco bob, so it's what we use for all our applique and EPP now. Oops, there it is there. Again, chewed by Mr. Bentley. Okay, but it's an 80 weight deco bob polyester thread, so fine and thread, and it's just a silver color so that it blends with everything. Okay, did I just unthread that? No. So I'm just putting them right sides together, and I'm just taking a little pinch of the point from both of the hexies. It's just the tiniest little bit, and then through those 2 points again, and then through the loop, and I just do that twice. Now, if you've seen me do my hexie demonstrations, it's pretty much my start and end stitch that I do at the end of every stitch line on a hexie when you're sewing them together. So it's the same sort of little grab stitch. And then I don't need to cut my thread. I can just run the thread through the seam allowance and go straight across out the other side, because it's only a little tiny hexie. So I don't need to cut and knot every one. And then I'm going to get my next one and do the same thing again. So just get the 2 points of the fabric through the loop, open it out, through the seam allowance to the other side. And I'll take my next one. I couldn't resist fussy cutting just a couple of them when I was just using scraps, but you know, if there's something on it, you can't resist a good fussy cut. So I was just getting that up the right way. Through the loop a second time. Across to the next side. And I probably, well, I think I did last night. I laid them all out in a ring so that I sort of was happy with the colour placement, that I didn't have two the same colour next to each other. But I really just did random, whatever Tilda scraps I had in a pile. So I didn't put a lot of thought into the colour choice. And then this one, I want it to go that way because, again, I couldn't resist a good fussy cut on that one. Okay, through the loop. Through the loop. And then I think that's all 20. So now I'm back to the beginning of my circle. Oops, I don't unthread my needle. So I'm just going to lay it down and make sure I don't twist it. And then this one has to go onto that one. I'm going to make sure I get the right points, because when you turn them right sides together, there's 6 points on a hexagon and they all look the same. Through the loop, through the loop, and then I'm just going to run it away from the edge through that seam allowance, and then I shall trim it off. Right, and that's my hexie circle. done. Now, if you were using cards, somehow, I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit because that's just a little bit making it hard to, oh, I don't know, right. Okay. It's making it hard to keep on the camera. So we'll just go out a little bit. Okay. All right, so then somehow, and this is where I've seen everyone really struggle, we have to get that in a perfect circle and we have to get it to fit around the embroidery, and we have to get it the right size. Oh, I'm going to go out even more because that's still cutting off my thing, isn't it? There we are. So, but I have the perfect answer for that. So we have our nested circle rulers, which have so many uses. And if Judy's watching wherever she might be in her caravan in Australia, this was her saving grace. So we just need to find the correct size circle that works. So I've got my centerpiece here, which is 5 inches, and I can actually even line that up perfectly with the center because I can see through it, and this one's actually got those lines on it. So I know I've got that completely centered because my center hole there is on my center line. So that's pretty good. And then I can just sit these around it evenly. Now I can also, okay, so that's too small. That's a little bit too small. That's 7.5. I know Judy worked out which size she needed. I think 8. I'm missing a few because I've taken them and I've broken them. But I think what I need is the 5.5, which I actually lost at AQC because I was demoing this in the classroom every day, and someone told me they saw it on the floor, and I went back and it was gone. So someone's got my 5.5. So I think I need a 5.5 and a 7 and an 8 and an 8. So let's get an 8 and a 5.5 off of here. These are still stuck together, so I've got to be careful not to break them. So I'm going to put my 5.5 on there. And I can, that's it, that's what I need. And I can get that perfectly even around the edges of that. I can still make sure that I'm centered on my embroidery, and I can get those perfect on that. And if I wanted to, I could get my 8.5 and put it around the outside, and that will make it nice and even there too. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I've got them all perfectly lined up around there, and all the straight edges are against the edge of my circle ruler. So in the pattern, they give you a 7.5 inch circle template. And I think that's meant to go through the tips of those hexies. I'm not really sure how we get the 7.5, because if we looked at the 7.5 here, well, it's not even, it doesn't really fit either of them. So maybe it was a 7. Maybe it's a 7-inch template in the pattern. I know there's a circle template in there. Yeah, so if it's a 7, then it runs through your points of all the hexies. But this works out much better. So then I'm just going to lift up and put a dot of Roxanne's basting glue under each hexie while it stays in place. I'll just do my dots first, and then I'll come back and push them down. I would do this on an ironing board, and I would then iron to set that Roxanne's glue You know how we put it on and then we set it with a hot iron. But I didn't set up my iron today. So a dot of blue under each one. Okay, I think I'm there. And then I'm just going to push those down onto the glue. Even that glue is not holding today. Definitely need my iron. Now, if you were using paper card templates, I'm not even actually quite sure how I would do this. I think all you could do is starch each hexie really well, then take out the papers and then try and iron the seam allowances down again because you've starched them, and then try and glue them to your background. I don't know. I don't know how I would do that. I just think it would be very fiddly. So I actually need my iron now to set that down. But you can see we've now got that perfectly centered and perfectly round. So there's no crooked hexie rings, and there's no, some I've seen, you know, aren't centered with the embroidery underneath, because it is actually really tricky to get a neat, perfect job. So, okay, I'll just better check the all the comments here. Sorry. To get the mylar, you got a mylar, Janie, and it was a 7. Yeah, so I reckon the 7 goes around the tips, like it's a circle that you sit all the points of your hexies on, and that's what's in the instructions. The only comment on the website, please tell me that it's not down again. It was fine just before I came up here, but who knows, it might be. Okay, I'll have to check that. Hi, Judy, watching from sunny Newcastle. Have been my circles while away. They're great. Have been using my circles while they're away. They're called nesting circles. Sue, I know whoever asked me that. Someone asked me the circle templates. Someone did. Whoever asked me, Veronica. They're just called nesting circles, and you can get a pack of 1 to 5 inch, and you can get a 5 to 12 inch pack, or 5 to 10 inch, I think it is. Really useful, really handy for so many things. So, yeah. So if I had my iron, I would iron that down, and then I would come back to my applique needle and my Deco Bob thread, and I would applique those down. The circles are, I think it's $30 for the small set and $60 for the large set. So I can put that link in there afterwards. The nested circles. There's so many uses for them, but this is one where it is a perfect use, because it is really tricky to get a perfect circle to fit around and be completely centered around these little circular things. So Natalie did a very good job getting hers perfect, but I've seen in the Facebook group so many people struggling to do a good job there. So, but the beauty of what also makes this easy is because we've got the iron-on leave-in papers, so we don't have to take those papers out, so everything's staying perfectly crisp and even. Whereas if we had to take the papers out, you'd have to try and starch the edges over still and get them all to sit flat, because they have to come out if you're using the cards. But this way, yep, they're just staying there and it's staying perfect. And that, between that and the circle templates to get them positioned, that's how you do a perfect job. I could go and get my iron and iron it down if you want to see the stitch. Server cannot be found. Let me just see. Grrr. Okay, it was fine just before I came up, but something's happening. Okay, I'll get that sorted. Joe, if you're there and you can shoot a message to Amita on Skype, please, and see if she can get them back up, would be great, because it was fine just before I came on. Story of my life, the joy of websites. I'm just about ready to just, yep. Yes, anyway, we won't go there. All right, so that's a few hints and tips. Let's come back and say hello. I will iron that down after I finished here and start stitching it down. Next week, I think we're going to do the circles that go around, like the little bits that go around, and make the circle. Let me see if I can find it here in the pattern. So we're going to do you can see that. No, you can't really. I'll have to go back to overhead. It's all right. Let's go back to overhead. So these ones here that have the little these ones here that have the bit that go around. So I will show you how to do those, because I've seen a lot of people struggling with those, again, to get the perfect circle. But you've probably already worked out, if you've got the iron-ons and the circle templates, then that's going to get you a perfect circle. So that's not going to be a problem. But we'll go through that next week, and the applique, because as I said in the packets, we've also laser cut applique shapes. So there's our little circle wedges, and somewhere in here I might do the bunny, because I don't actually have all the patterns. So I might do the bunny, because that's going to be a fairly tricky one. Some little shapes. So we'll applique the bunny and the things on next week, and I'll show you that one. And then, of course, we could also do the coffin block. If anyone needs help with that, or I might just do it for something to do anyway. And we can also do the Dresden block. So the coffin block and the Dresden block. And then that's probably as much as I'll ever do, but might make a nice cushion, just 4 blocks then, one of each. Because, yeah, who knows? We'll see. I don't have time to make other people's projects, but I'm really enjoying it. Sometimes it's really nice just to do someone else's and you don't have to worry about it. Struggling with the rabbit, yeah, there's some pretty severe curves in there, and little tiny curves. So let's see how we go with that, see how well I can do it. Who sells the magazine? It's homespun magazine, so you can get it in supermarkets, Carol. Not supermarkets, in newsagents. But the first pattern came out in the February issue, and that issue is totally sold out. You might still be able to get the other issues, but you can get online subscriptions. So most people, particularly those overseas, because it is sold out, you can go back and get an online subscription. I think you get an online subscription for like the year, and then you can buy individual issues. So you might be able to go back and buy the back issues. But having said that, if you've got the panel and the applique paper set, you can make a good deal of it without all the instructions. You just need to get the one where it's, tells you how to put it together, basically. Oh, Coles Northgate have got them. Oh, Coles have got them. Okay. Dresden will be good too. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do the Dresden. We'll do that, Janie, because I've opened a pack now, so I might as well keep going and do one of everything, because I've opened the pack so it's incomplete for someone else. Who knows, maybe at the end I'll give away the leftovers in the pack and you only have to trace a few. So that, and then also circles. There's some circle blocks too, so we'll do some perfect circles there. Any other questions? No, doesn't look like it. Let's go back so you can see me. Oh, we want to take Solo off. Here we are. And I'm just going to I'll put the links back in there for you. And we'll take that one away. And sorry, I'm just playing with swapping around all my cameras. Okay, you can still hear me? Yes. You can also buy single issues on Zinio to download, read online. There you go. Thanks, Joe. So, and some libraries have them. Yes, some libraries. There's been a few people saying they can get it out from their local library. I think libraries have like digital libraries as well, so you can actually borrow the magazine digitally. I don't know how that works. I suppose you download the pack. Well, if you buy the digital version, in the magazine, it's got a link to where you go to the Homespun website and download the actual templates. So obviously you haven't got the paper template in a digital magazine, so it sends you to the link to download layout guides and the templates and everything, I believe. Okay, so that's all I've got to show you. We've been 50 minutes, so we've just make sure a few more of these things went in the links. I'm not sure if they did. We still have the stitchery panels, and obviously we still have the paper packs. So we've got to try the Libby app for Libraries Tasmania. If you have, hang on a minute, Libby app, Libby or library app, maybe it was meant to be library. What did Donna just say? I've lost it. Libby app for Libraries Tasmania if you have a library membership. There you go. You can then download from there. Right. Okay, so we need to draw our winner. So if you weren't here at the beginning, you would have seen the little jar on the left, down the bottom left side of the screen, if you're just watching it now, or if you're back watching it on replay. Now, if you're watching it on replay, your comments don't count because I'm going to draw it now and it's finished. But this is a lottery jar, so every time you commented, a little bubble fell down into my jar. It's like a big jar of lollies. And I think now, if it doesn't work, sorry, we'll have to play again next week. But I'm now meant to click on grab a winner. So I click on that. Oh, problem is I can't, so small I can't see it. Maybe I can make it bigger, can I? No, I can't. But I think that says Shelley Allen. Let me look on my phone. Maybe I can see it on there better because I can zoom in. Yes, Shelley Allen, you are the winner. Okay, so next time you're in the shop, ask for your little surprise. Well done. So that was completely random. There you go. It was someone local. Shelley is local, so she'll be in. She can pick it up. If it was someone in Australia, I would have posted it to you, but we'll save that. And I should have said we probably won't post overseas, but I could always give you something digital instead. Okay. So congratulations, Shelley, and thanks everyone for making lots of comments. It makes me feel more loved when I know you're actually there and listening and sending me messages. So maybe it's a good idea to have our lottery jar each week. Do you want it again? And then you'll talk to me. So let's try that. It was something new that was available, so it was good fun to play it, and it was actually good seeing all those bubbles drop into the jar. It's pretty full now though. It's just small on my little screen, so I couldn't see it from here, but I can see it on my phone. All right, so thank you very much. Have a great week, everyone. It's the end of July this weekend already. Can you believe that? It means we're into August, which is birthday month for me. I'm going to miss my baby's birthday though. Don't know if she's watching, but yeah, so I have to work out something I can do to surprise her in Adelaide. And we will see you all again, same time, same place next week, ready to go with the next step. Okay, have a great week. Hope you get a few stitches in and a bit of therapy. Bye for now.